Awesome. Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Cecily, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today because I've got some information for you. You know, there are so many reasons why relationships and marriages don't work. The list goes on and on, from infidelity, domestic violence, job loss, whatever a case may be. I kind of know firsthand because I couldn't get past 7 years of my marriage. But now I will tell you, I'm going to have all the tools in my marriage relationship toolbox to make it work.
Yes.
And I want you to make it work as well. So I have one of my favorite doctors in the house, Dr. Rick Adams. He
Great
is
to be here. Yep.
I'm so glad that you're here. And guess what? He says he has the perfect prescription to help your relationship and your marriage. And I want you to lean in. Come on, lean in, because you want to hear this,
Definitely.
okay? So tell me, Dr. Rick, what you got for us?
So when you say perfect, perfect has to do with the actual application. So it's perfect only if you apply it. Now, so basically what I have is this. There's a couples retreat that I'm going to be doing, and it's called Keeping It Real Couples Retreat, and it's going to be August 5th and 6th. And during that particular conference, the goal is to work with couples who are married, couples who are not married, and simply couples who simply want to communicate better in their relationship.
Absolutely.
So I want to give them the tools to do that.
Like, here's the deal.
Okay?
A relationship, a marriage, it
Can be hard.
takes...
Can be hard.
It's hard for me to
Can
get
be
it
hard.
out.
Yep.
Yes, it can be hard. And so it's like training ground. And if you
Right.
don't have the right blueprint or the right information to make it work, then it's going to be more of a challenge. And you
Right.
have to be intentional. And that's what's going to happen
Right.
with you at the marriage retreat and relationship couples conference.
Right, right.
Keeping it real, because let me tell you, if you don't know anything about Dr. Rick, he definitely keeps it real. So what
You
can
have
we
to.
expect?
So a couple things. One, as I said before, it's about relationships, and there's three relationships. There's the marital relationship, the dating relationship, and then there's also the single relationship. And that's part of the problem, that we begin to make this, that, and that this. Meaning what? We think dating is marriage, and it's definitely not. We think marriage is being single, and it's definitely not, because you're no longer single. So what does it take? It takes understanding that there's single, there's dating, and then there's marriage. And then being able to differentiate between the three and apply the three in the way that it's need to be applied.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's a movie that I like, and there's a line in that movie that says, "What we have here is a failure to communicate."
Exactly.
And communication
Right.
is key
Right.
when it comes to a relationship.
It is. And that's one of the main things that I see when I'm doing couples counseling or marriage counseling. It's about communication. Now, this is part of it though. And I talk about this, and we're going to talk about this at the conference, and that is expectations. That's the key, expectations. And I want to say this, wounded expectations hurt relationships. Okay?
Say
Now,
that again.
Wounded expectations can ruin and hurt relationships. And those wounded expectations, they come from the environment that we grow up in, exposure, experiences, and experimentation.
Say that again.
Exposure, experiences, and experimentation.
Those exposures, the
Right.
experience gives us the expectations that we're thinking that we know what to do.
Right.
And
Or
technically
not
we
do.
don't. Or not do.
Or not do. For example, when you've experienced a very bad, painful relationship, okay, then at that point, either you're going to lower your expectations, like, you know what, well, I might as well get what I can get, you know,
Yeah.
or you're going to elevate your expectations. You know what, I'll never do that again. I'm never going to have this type of person. So when you say never, now you are putting yourself in an obsolete category,
Yeah.
you know. So what has to happen is you have to have the right expectations in a relationship, but understand wounded expectations based on your past experiences, based on the exposure that you've had from your parents, the exposure from a previous relationship, a previous marriage. One of the things that I've seen in couples relationship is that women have the tendency to settle, and men have the tendency not to think it through. Not to think it through.
That's good stuff right there.
He's not thinking it through, and she's settling. Well, no. If you are a woman out there, if you're married, or if you are dating, the key, don't settle. But you got to understand what that really means. And at the conference, we're going to talk about that. And if you're a man out there, you're married, or you're dating, or you're in a relationship, you got to be able to think it through. But there's a reason why you don't think it through. So what part of the conference is we're going to have a breakout session. On Saturday, we're going to break out. We're going to have the women over here, and we're going to have the men over here. and we're going to talk real. We're going to keep it real. As men, keep it real as women, and then bring it back together and understand it.
Bring your realness, you know,
Yeah,
and no
exactly.
question is off limits, right? Because that's where we
no.
where we have a failure to communicate, when we don't really share what's on our minds,
Right.
what's in our hearts, so that we can get that out. And there's a thing that I say between the difference between expectations and agreements, right?
Right.
You can set expectations on something that you both have never agreed upon,
Right.
and then you're disappointed because you expected him
Right.
or her
Right.
to do something,
Right.
and he didn't do it. Well, you never agreed to it, so
Right.
you've got to think about that.
Exactly.
But also, what we're going to learn from the conference is being intentional.
Yes.
You've got to be intentional
Right.
with everything that we're doing as a relationship.
And that's why one of the group exercises is called pass. You know, growing up, we used to pass notes. Do you like me? Yes, no, check, yes,
Check.
no. Exactly. You know, we used to pass anonymous notes. And one of the exercises is going to be pass, participant anonymous scenario. And basically what that is we're going to have anonymous notes that are going to be passed to me, okay, that you're going to ask those questions. You're going to ask questions that you want to ask if you're married, if you're dating, if you're single, it doesn't matter.
Anonymously.
Anonymously, okay?
So that makes
not
it okay.
Not even the person that you're with. So if you're with your spouse and you're married, it's still going to be done anonymously.
Yeah.
If you're with someone you're dating and or in a relationship with, it's going to be done what? Anonymously.
Yeah.
So
Just
that
don't
you can
ask
what? Keep
don't
it
ask
real.
the
That's
question.
because you want to keep it real.
You
Yeah.
want to keep it real, but they may
Right.
realize they ask the question, and they're like, I know that question was about what? Why
Right.
would you ask that
Right.
question?
Right.
So, but still,
But
want
you
to
know
talk
what?
about
It's like church, okay? When you listen to a message and it hits you, and it's like, who told him about me? Who told her that you know what was? And that's what this is about, you know.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times when we internalize that the message is about us, it's not about us, but it is for us. It's for us, and that's what this conference is about. It is for you to be able to address those things that it takes. Put it this way. There are those who come to me for counseling and for therapy, and the problem is it's too late. No, it should have been earlier. That's the key. It's not too late, but it should have been earlier. And I'll have couples that I come to, and I'm known as the person who keeps it real in counseling and therapy, and I keep it real. And I say, you know what? I'm really upset with you. And they're like, why are you upset with me? And I said, because you could have came to me and should have came to me
Earlier.
10 years earlier.
Yeah, because then is it ever too late?
It's never too late. However, this is the issue. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes. Because there's 3 C's that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about conflicts, we're going to be talking about challenges, and we're going to be talking about concerns. And those conflicts, those challenges, and those concerns could have been dealt with if you would have just done things earlier.
Yeah.
Even before, if you're a couple and you're not married, come. Why? Because you need to make sure that you deal with things now, because it is easier to break away and leave when you're not married. It is much easier. Marriage is a piece of paper. It is not a piece of paper. It is a commitment of the heart. And when you divorce or when you leave a marriage, a part of your heart dies.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Okay? And when you're dating, what happens is when you leave, it's not that a part of your heart dies, but what does mean is you now have to know how to protect that heart or guard it better.
Absolutely. I like that one.
Yes.
Guard that heart.
You have
Because
to.
you don't want to settle.
Yes.
For
Yes.
women, I'm talking
Yes.
to you,
Yep.
right? You
Yep.
don't want to settle,
Yep.
but you've got to protect that heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Guard the heart.
Guard the heart. Well, what's the difference?
Okay, so for women, I speak with them about guarding their heart. For men, I talk to them about protecting their mind. As a woman, it is not about protecting your heart. It is about guarding your heart. Because remember, God formed you in a way that you are a nurturer. So it's not a matter of what is in your heart. It's a matter of what gets into your heart. What's in your heart is that ability to nurture. So you got to guard your heart, but it's supposed to be protected. And this is what most women have not so much trouble with, but the issue is, who's the first man you were supposed to date?
Your dad.
Your father.
Yeah.
And
if you didn't have a father figure,
exactly. Okay.
that can be a bit of a problem.
So check this out. Because as a female, okay, there are gender differences, and we're going to talk about gender differences. If you think men are just like women and women are just like men, there's another conference that we're going to talk to. It's called Reality Conference, okay?
Right.
We'll talk about that. But men and women are different. And for women, one of the things is your father, your biological father or your adopted father or the father who raised you, who became your dad, doesn't have to be your biological one. He, at that point, was supposed to protect your heart, protect you, give you unconditional love, and say, the only thing I want to do is give you, not take. And at that point, him protecting your heart now means that you just have to guard it.
Wow.
Which is why in marital ceremonies, your father walked you down and then gave you to, and what part of that exchange is to say, you got to protect her heart. And what happens is when you date individuals and he doesn't understand that, he ends up ruining your heart instead of protecting your heart.
Wow. I told you, he keeps it real. And that's what you're going to get.
We have to.
That's what you're going to get at the conference.
Yep.
Again, what's the date again, Dr. Rick?
August 5th and August 6th, Friday and Saturday. And if you register now, we're able to give some discounts to assist you in that process. It's $575. And if you're able to do it within the next couple days, give us a call at 407-214-3415. That's my office, and we will discuss different percentages that we can give you if you're able to register for the conference right now.
Absolutely, and it's going to be in?
It's going to be in Clearwater, Florida, at the beautiful Carroll Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a website that you can go to find more information, and that website is?
Well, actually, you can email us at info, I think it's, matter of fact, excuse me, I want to make sure I get it correct.
You want it right, you want it right. And while he's looking for that, there are so many reasons why you can start thinking, say, oh, maybe I've thought about a retreat, I've thought about a conference, but I don't want anybody in my business. No, my marriage is, my relationship's good. I don't need all of that. Whatever reason it could be. We don't want you to think about why not.
Right.
We're telling you why.
Do it.
In that
Do it.
meantime,
Do it.
what's the website?
Well, the website is info, MWI, couplesretreat@gmail.com. Again, that's info, MWI, couplesretreat@gmail.com.
And of course, we'll put all that information in the bottom so that you'll be able to log on, get the information, plan your time, be intentional, because if you're intentional about your relationship, then good things will come from it, all right?
Right.
So we want you to be the best, and I told you.
Get ready. Get ready.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
And I want to say this, Cecily, in closing. There are signs, signals, and symptoms when it comes to relationships. Signs, signals, and symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what are the signs in a relationship that you look for. What are the signals that you need to be able to adhere to? And what are the symptoms? In other words, past and present and potential hurts that may ruin or may complicate the relationship.
This sounds like it's going to be intense and hard. Oh.
It is, and that's why.
Is there going to be some fun to it?
It's definitely going to be some fun. Definitely going to be some fun. My wife and others have gotten together. We're going to make it fun, okay? However, it is going to be a little bit of this thing called work.
Yes.
It's going to be some work, but because it's in a location that you can enjoy yourself at the beach and at the ocean, it's going to definitely be fun, and we can't wait to have you there.
You're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah.
I told you. You're welcome. You'll thank me later. So let's give it up right now for Dr. Rick Adams and the Keeping It Real conference that's coming up August
5th and 6th, Friday and Saturday next month. You don't want to miss it at the beautiful Carroll Hotel.
Awesome. We'll see you soon. God bless everybody.